Hey, what's good, everybody? I think I'm gonna make this a podcast episode. So, welcome to episode 134 of the In a Good Way podcast. Um, there was a lot of little things today that I wanted to talk about, and then I was gonna do a reading after, just because I don't know, it was kind of calling to me. But first I wanted to talk about I just finished listening to this thing called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz that was recommended to me. Um by the last video I uploaded about the graffiti, right? I loved how I was able to have the artist explain the meanings behind it, right? Beautiful mural, right? Cultural mural. So I was honored to be able to get that video and have the explanation, right? And after, yeah, we stayed talking, and then you know, he told me about the book, The Four Agreements, and we talked about a bunch of other things too. So it'd be great to actually do an interview and talk to Thunder One, who did the mural, and then after the other two muralists as well. Um, you know, so I just finished listening to that, so I would recommend it. All that to say, I would recommend it. The Four Agreements. It ties into spirituality as well as human life, right? So I just finished listening to that right now. But what I wanted to talk about was um it was funny. This thing happened with the glass breaking, right? And I looked it up what it meant and everything, right? The glass breaking. First, I was gonna go to cook something, and there was an olive oil bottle up top, and that thing fell from all the way up top, bam, on the floor, and it didn't break, right? So that was funny. It was empty, but still it just didn't break, and I was like, oh wow, that's. And I just even thought, like, why olive oil, right? Olive oil means something, but it didn't break. Then, I was gonna cook an egg, and I can't really even remember that I've ever dropped an egg, but I dropped the egg, and I thought for sure it broke. I was like, oh man. It even took me a little while to look, because I was like, oh man. And then when I looked down, the egg hadn't broken. It just smashed the little on the side. I was like, oh wow. So I picked it up, turned it over, cracked it open, and still cooked the egg, right? So I was like, all right, that's interesting. So that was yesterday. And then today, just from like table height, a coffee thing falls and breaks, and everywhere. Boom. But I realized, like, that energy wanted to, it was there, right? Something was trying to break. It was like they were kind of like, I don't know. It's funny that something needed to break. But and so anyways, I looked it up, and it has to do with the whole death and rebirth, right? So the whole glass breaking, shattering is like a death and rebirth. I know I interviewed someone before, and they talked about like a curse being broken, right? When it's a mirror, things like that, right? Um, so in this case, it was like a death and rebirth. I didn't feel, I mean, whatever it, but it was just like a renewal, right? Something new, right? But the old, something has to break in order for something new to come out of it, right? It's just part of the transitions and everything. And coming out of this eclipse, where I felt so much energy with this eclipse. Let me see, because I know there's something else I want to talk about, and I know I put a note just so I make sure I talk about it. But yeah, coming out of this eclipse, there was so many things that came up, past things, this and that, and oh yeah, that why I even decided to make this video to begin with. In the morning, I woke up and I kept hearing that song. I don't know if you guys ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I'm sure I don't even know the reason that movie exists, right? But this song just popped out, and I was even a little confused because and both of the words to both of the songs kind of have a deep meaning, because I kind of mixed it up with the, it goes da 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 da, and I kind of even mixed it up. It kept going in and out between the two songs. Why do birds suddenly? But I know that's not the one. It was the Pure Imagination, but because I think I know more the words to the. Well, I really didn't know the words. I thought I knew the words to the "Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near?" Da, 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 whatever. But it was actually the Pure Imagination song. Or since both of them came out, it probably really does mean both, right? But I'm gonna read the lyrics, because I was like, oh wow. So coming out of this eclipse energy that I felt heavily, the lunar one, then the solar one, and then this glass breaking, like needing to break. Like, I don't know if they were like, what the hell? Like, it's funny just thinking about like spiritually something like, bam, dropping this oil and like what the hell didn't break? Then an egg, boom, it didn't break, and then off finally the coffee. You know, it was about halfway full, so that was a shame to waste that much coffee, right? Like it was about halfway full, and it just bam. But then there was another full container of coffee waiting nearby, so it was fine, right? But something needed to break, right? It's a death and rebirth. I'll look it up right now too. Like if there's any other meanings to the glass breaking, but I woke up with the Pure Imagination song. So that was interesting, right? I saw the Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder when I was little. So this is right here. It actually has. It's funny. It has the words that he's talking and introducing everyone. Oh, the chocolate room. Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to three. Right. So that's interesting already. Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to three. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see. I'll just read it. I don't want to. Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. So already that's deep, right? Like you'll see into your own imagination. And then he's telling you like we're traveling in a world of my create. Like first he's showing you what you could do through showing you what he created. I'm guessing because of the whole Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, right? Like he created this whole world from a thought, right? From a thought. So it's showing like what we're capable of as humans. And if you did the work during these, it doesn't just have to be these eclipses. In life in general, you don't have to wait for an eclipse or a full moon or a new moon or glass to break or anything, right? Because this is it's funny that this happened before the glass broke, right? But this song was in my head when I woke up. So it's just showing you what we're capable as. And damn, I never read the lyrics to the song. So, anyways, we'll begin with a spin traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. So, even me, I've experienced things like I get it, right? If I hadn't seen half the things I've seen, maybe I wouldn't believe it, right? Because they're so like, but I've seen the most unexplainable things that, I'm sure no scientist will believe, no this, no that, but I've seen it. So but that's kind of what that's why now I'm like, oh wow, this is gonna be one of my favorite songs now because of the lyrics. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. And that's funny because just yesterday I was writing this song about, I used to write songs like that back in the days, and I was it was a song touching on that kind of stuff, like I had a song, We Can Change It, or, you know, No More, the song. What is it called? Man, I can't believe I write so many songs. Where I go, no more, right? That one's kind of about that kind of stuff too, right? But before I would write so many songs like that. So, anyways, it was funny that this came up in this song, right? Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be, right? If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to, do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. So that even repeated, right? There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be, right? So, I mean, it'd be beautiful I know we can do that as individuals, right? But will we get there collectively? I think that's the thing. That's why I think songs are so beautiful, because if everyone's listening to it rather than just humming along, da da, because even me, I remember the da 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 da, and I never really, when I was little, I probably didn't pay attention to the words. I don't know if they were subconsciously being put in there, maybe, right? But imagine if a song could reach everybody. Wow, something's. I don't like when that happens because it's almost like if something doesn't want you to talk or something, or something wants you to get it out. It's one or the other, right? I don't know why that made me cough right now, right? That was weird. But anyways, yeah. So collectively we have, like, if we imagine if we all vibrated on that, obviously, the world, I mean, that's what makes the world beautiful. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, that's what makes the world beautiful, is that we're all so different. And in that process, think about that. What what is more beautiful than when there is this conflict and you could come to an agreement? That becomes something like, oh wow, you know what I mean? Like, I remember when I was little, there was this song called Peace Treaty, right? And it was about like gangs uniting, right? And that was like a big thing because, I just, so much bloodshed and this and that. And then, so even something like that, right? So when you see something, it becomes this beautiful thing and if everything was just already perfect, well, we wouldn't be able to experience this, right? When something comes together after so much chaos, that something comes together. And I think in the world, that's what always blows my mind is just even, in the history of this world, especially like, for example, since I live in the US, might as well talk about it, right? Like when they talk about how in the whole history of the US, since its inception, or it became known as the US, that there had only been like 20 years of peace in all that. So that's mind blowing, right? Although it seems like, oh yeah, maybe because they always took war somewhere else, right? Aside from the Civil War and, in the World War II when they bombed Pearl Harbor, this and that, aside from things like that, they've always gone elsewhere. So we kind of turn on the blinders. But see, even that, from when they came, right? And fighting with indigenous people, right? Murdering the native people and this and that. So there has always been some kind of conflict, but for some reason, so anyways, whatever. It's like, so imagine if all of a sudden now, like, we came to a place of peace. It'd be mind blowing, right? And maybe later on, a few generations down the line, maybe they'll need chaos again just because they'll get bored. But at least if we could achieve that, within these next generations, I think that'd be something beautiful, right? Because it's been it's been absent for so long that I think people deserve that, and we just have to be aware that we deserve it, right? We're deserving of it in this lifetime. Um, but that's just that's my kind of dream, right? That's my vision. Unless there were others that shared in that vision, regardless, I'll create, like, that's why I love that song, because it's like, hey, like, he's showing you he created that world for himself, right? In the Willy Wonka. I mean, it's really cool. Like, I want to watch it again because the movie is really insane, right? Unfortunately, I seen the remake more recently, so I'm kind of remembering the remake, which wasn't as, there was, I think, more wholesome moments in the original one, right? Even though the original one was crazy, but the girl that blows up and then this and that, and I remember as a kid thinking, oh damn, what's gonna happen to her, right? Like, she just gets rolled off by the Oompa Loompas, which were real creepy looking, right? So there was all this creepy stuff to it too, but there was this magical stuff to it too, right? To Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So, anyways, um, yeah, I know that's a whole different thing, right? But it was funny that I woke up with that song out of all the songs, right? But that's definitely like a death and rebirth kind of thing, energy going on. What else? What else? Yeah, I mean, I won't read. If you guys want to look up the lyrics to that, "Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear?" kind of has this beautiful thing to it too, right? Birds are always present for me too, so I love the thing that kind of popped in there with the birds, right? Um, but yeah, the Pure Imagination song, the glass breaking. Let me look it up real quick, and then I'll do a little reading, and then I'll go. So I just want to talk about that. The Four Agreements book, you guys could look it up online too. It's really good for like spiritual. It's good. Like a little guideline to live by, right? It talks about like don't take nothing. Watch, let me read it. The Four Agreements. Let me see the Four Agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions and always do your best. So but it breaks it down and it gets very intricate. But if it the agreements focus on the Toltec teachings that emphasize achieving happiness, peace, and love through attained wisdom. So that's how we began to talk about it, right? Like I mentioned, I was talking about it with Thunder One, who was one of the muralists one of the artists for that mural that I posted the video of, we began to talk about this thing that came from Toltec wisdom, right? Which were before the Aztecs. I don't know if they were before the Olmecs, but um, what do you call it? Hold on, let me now I gotta look it up. The Toltecs before the Olmecs. The Toltecs ruled this woman. See why the Olmecs came. Okay, so the Toltecs were after the Olmecs, right? So yeah, so this came from Toltec wisdom, which were before the Olmecs. According to this, it says in the 900s, right? 900s, CE, whatever, CE, AD, however, whatever they're gonna call it this year, next year, or whatever, right? But it was you know, over 2,000 years ago, right? So, anyways, we were talking about that. So that's what the four agreements is about. It comes from, you know, I guess you could call it ancient wisdom, right, from the Toltecs. And then I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about the song Pure Imagination. So I like that there was a whole, and then the glass breaking, a whole um death and rebirth kind of thing, spiritual meaning, a beginning of new beneficial cycles in your life. So it's like a good thing, right? Um, well, this one says it reminds us that love, like glass, is fragile and must be protected. The glass is broken to protect the marriage with an implied prayer. So, there's some kind of, I guess, when people get married, there's some kind of thing with the glass. So, see, there's a lot of significance to glass breaking, and this time it did feel very like how it said, the beginning of a cycle, right? So let me do a reading now. I'll just do one real quick. Yeah, aside from, damn, this card flew out, but it was just the top card, so I'm not gonna take that obviously. But um yeah, if you just wanted to stick around for that, then if you don't like the reading stuff, then I'm gonna do a quick reading. I'll use the wisdom of the elders, right? Oracle. Last time it was funny when I was using it. Hold on. Last time it was funny when I was using the wisdom of the elders Oracle deck by Sean Leonard, who I interviewed. I always gotta mention that. But um, what do you call it? When I used it, there was a little light that passed. I didn't see it till I was editing the video, and then I was like, "What? There's a little light." Um, someone mentioned in the comments they thought it was limp, but I zoomed in and you could see it was like it goes down and then it goes up. Like this little light. So, and then I was looking like, what could have caused that reflection? See, like even right now, I'm doing like pretty much the exact same movements, but I shouldn't have said it, huh? I should have just waited and seen oh shoot. And seeing if wow, that's funny that the last thing I was talking about that was the whole the glass with the marriage thing, and then this came out, all my relations, interconnectedness. But it just shows, right? Like the connectedness between all things. See, plant, animals, people, the earth, right? I like how the earth is, it's like shaped like a turtle almost, right? Because this was called Turtle Island, is called Turtle Island, really, right? And 10 is a number of completion. So, well, new, really, right? It's like something new beginning. Nine is like well, yeah, completion is something new because nine is the ending and then that. So, right. So it's cool that this came out right now that I'm talking about all this, but you see the bear in the bag, the eagle, the plants, the new flowers coming out, right? All my relations, interconnectedness. We're all connected, right? We're all one. This one flipped over too, so I like it. And I just talked about the turtle. This is number two, turtle. It's funny because this morning I drove somewhere really early in the morning. So see, it's funny. The synchronicities are insane all the time. And there was this like old car right now. I don't know, it's probably like 4 in the morning. I went somewhere and then I was driving, and then there's this car that pulls up next to me, and it was all raced out like an old car though, probably like I don't know from the 60s or something. And it was all raced out and had the number two on it. So and then it pops out, but truth, right? So that kind of even goes with that whole thing about the four agreements about be impeccable with your word, right? This is one of the first things, right? So truth, turtle. That's beautiful. Look at all the things in the turtle. The feathers, the flowers, the little, what is it? Are they caterpillars or centipedes or something? You know? But it's almost like for me, it's like everything, right? What's underneath the ground, what rises above the ground, then the little feathers, like if they're floating from the sky, right? Like everything, it's almost like a whole interconnect, and then all the cycles of the moon, right? It's funny because I'm kind of doing this for the full moon. Um, kind of like a full moon reading type thing. It's a full moon in Aries, I believe. So Aries is all I think it's the first zodiac sign, right? Even though right now, but it's gonna be a full moon in Aries, so it's a perfect thing for new beginnings and all that. So I don't know if I should pull any more from this deck. I think I like this one that was on the bottom, so I'll just say this last one. You know, for me, this I like this, but maybe some of you, this is more like a collective kind of thing, right? Like spirit talk or communication, right? I like that one. But it didn't really come out. I don't like taking them. I'll do that sometimes when 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 nothing's coming out, which has been very rare that nothing wanted to come out. I think it's only happened to me like one time. Right. Let me just see if something else comes out. If not, then we're good. I think things do want to come out, right? Oh, Plant Nation, herbal medicine. So I like that. You know, if anyone out there's feeling unwell or anything, and right before too, I wanted to burn some sage and I completely forgot. So that's funny that this came out. Like, take some time to connect with your body, right? Don't neglect your human body. You know, it's always talking to you, and sometimes it's that simple, right? You don't need to go with all this other stuff, right? Like everything on the earth has everything we need to feel better, right? So listen to your body and connect with it, right? This one jumped out too, so I'll just put it out there. But Bigfoot honesty, right? I don't know if they pronounce it Sabe, you know, but the Bigfoot. I was gonna look because didn't they say like there was some video and I didn't even see what the deal was with it. They had a video about Bigfoot and I didn't see if it was like some prank or if they were saying that someone finally caught like video that was like undeniable kind of thing or what. But okay. Oh yeah, I think it was this one. It was the animal oracle and it's still there. Like I think nothing wanted to come out and finally at the bottom was the starfish. Like that was one of the only times that I took what was on the bottom because I was like, dude, nothing. Oh yeah, because it felt like all the animals, like that was the message that time, right? It was about like, hey, if you need help, every single like animal is there. Like all you gotta do is ask, right? Okay, so let's see if there's any spirit animal for the collective, if there's any certain animal that will be the animal to connect with at this time, right? Okay, so this one was the one that nothing wanted to come out last time, right? So let me see. I don't know. This time it feels like things want to come out, but I don't know. It's weird with the spirit animals because for me, I always feel like they're all available. Okay. Any spirit animal that the collective should connect with. See, like, I don't know. It's like if it gets stuck or something, I'm gonna have to find a new animal deck because this one's really like kind of stiff. See, like sometimes, well, I don't know. I feel like everything wants to go. Oh, okay. Well, it came out again, so I'll take it. Turtle. But see, with this, okay, wow, with this deck, it's like all of them flip over at once, right? So, Turtle Spirit, slow and steady wins the race. 62, right? Look at all the, looks like there's all these faces on the, I don't know if that was done on purpose or it's just my imagination that I see all these, I see like a rhinoceros, a person, a lot of ancient, an owl, a lot of ancient looking stuff on there. I don't really see it here. I see it more when I reflect it like on a little squirrel. I see like everything on the turtle shell. So that's pretty and another owl I see like just in the fog above. It's pretty interesting. So yeah, the turtle. So it's funny that it came out with the other one, right? Truth, fox spirit, Oh, and this was, yeah, I said, right, 62. Fox spirit, think on your feet. I mean, the fox sometimes it has like a negative like but not in the, like, I won't say it. It's just like a cunning thing, right? Sometimes, hey, you got to be cunning to get by, right? It almost has like the trickster energy even in this card, right? It kind of looks very tricksterish, right? So, hey, but it could be just warning you to be aware during this time, right? Make sure you don't get fooled. I think purposely they made this card very, because this fox looks like, but it's on you, think on your feet, right? So it's almost like the fox is telling you not to trust it, right? So, it's funny because that 62 adds up to 8. This adds up to 9. So it's counting up, right? Fox spirit. And then this one came out. I love the wolf, obviously. See, the wolf looks more. Wow, I don't like this picture of the wolf too much, right? 67 is 13, right? 13:4. Turn knowledge into wisdom. So I like that one. Right. Again, it looks like the wolf. I don't know. I don't like the way this wolf looks, really. But I love the wolf regardless, the wolf spirit. Turn knowledge into wisdom, right? Obviously. There's too many that flipped over actually. So you know, I'll put this last one, right? The Bobcat spirit. Life is a mystery. So let me see. I'll do one more. Like I said, I'll have to get another deck. This was there too. The koi, and that'll be the last one there because they all flipped over together, right? How many cards was that? One, two, three, four. Four cards. Five, six, seven, eight. Oh, that's funny. I'll just show you real quick then, because it is an 8 year and blah, and what else? The first card that came out was an 8, right? So I'll just show you the 8 cards that came out then. Since it kind of all flipped out, right? So it was first the turtle, right? Slow and steady wins the race. Sorry. Then it was the fox, think on your feet. Then it was wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. Then the Bobcat, Life is a Mystery, number 8. There's a number 8 again. So the first card was 8. This is 8. And then and then it's 8 cards. So 888. That's funny. And 888. Oh, I didn't want to make this personal, but there's been like I've seen a lot of eights, right? So, anyways, 888. Then it was the koi fish. There is always enough, right? So there's enough for everybody, right? That's a good and that's another 9, right? The other one added up to 9. This one adds up to 9. There's always enough because I think as humans, obviously, sometimes there's nothing wrong with being competitive or stuff, but you should never think that someone else's success will mean your downfall, or if someone else succeeds, you won't succeed, stuff like that. There's always enough. I like that message. So that's beautiful, right? Going forward, too, right? So if that was the message of there being a new beginning and this and that, then to not be in your head about, oh, can you make it or this and that, or there's other people or you're competing with this person or that person because there's enough, right? There's always enough. Don't ever think like there's not enough, right? Badger spirit. So see, and this goes perfect with this. Be fearless and bold, right? Badger spirit. So, and there's another 4. The other one, 13, the wolf was a 4. This is a 4, so 44, 4, 4, which adds up to 8 also. There's a lot of 8s in there. 8s and 4s. Badger spirit. Be fearless and bold, right? So there's always enough, right? Uh, life is a mystery. I like it. See, there it is telling a story. That's funny. I didn't even think about it. Nothing is wasted. Another 9, right? So 999 already. Vulture spirit. Nothing is wasted. The vulture, I get very happy when I see it. It's called the golden purifier, right? That's the scientific name for it. Catharis aura, I think it is. Catharis aura. And it means golden purifier. So when I see it, and it never fails, whenever I'm going through a transition, I'll go up the mountain and boom, like vulture will swoop in or something, right? No matter where I go, when I'm going through something intense, or I'm just coming out of it, boom, the vulture will appear, right? The golden purifier. So nothing is wasted. Number 9. And the last one, armadillo spirit, set healthy boundaries. Wow, I was actually going to talk about that. So set healthy boundaries. Number three, armadillo spirit. That's very important because I literally was thinking about it earlier about how I've managed to set healthier boundaries with humans. But that's what I was going to mention that, I had made the video about going to that cemetery and it appears that a spirit had followed me home. This is what I was going to say that I don't know if I already did that update, right? But like what, I don't know, the next day or something after I posted that video I did with Lorenzo of going to the Spadra cemetery, he sent me a video of someone had posted and he didn't even realize that on the top it had my name. They had given me credit because they used some of my footage, right? But they put it together with all these things about that cemetery. And what do you call it? They said that. See, I didn't know that people have even reported smelling perfume. And I think I did make a video actually. So I did make that update where I said I woke up like at midnight and the smell was so strong it went into my dream and then it woke me up and I was smelling. It was just so strong. It was like that, like a woman's either an older perfume or like when it mixed with an older person, right? Like older people have this certain scent, and when it mixes with the strong perfume, it's this interesting scent, right? So I was thinking that this morning, literally, right? That even though I learned how to set healthy boundaries with people, now I got to learn to set those boundaries with the spirit world because clearly they haven't got the message that they're not supposed to follow me home, right? So, my friend the Weedium, who I've interviewed, and we did I don't know if we did more than one live, but I know I interviewed her. We did a live, so she's at least on there twice, right? Um, she's one of the ones that taught me like probably the first person that taught me about that, right? How to set boundaries with the spirit world, right? Like how she told them, like, hey, don't bother me during certain times, like she literally said like a schedule with the spirits and everything, right? So she learned how to set healthy boundaries even with the spirit world or the spirits that would visit her. And so that's something, I mean, she already taught me. It's just since I hadn't really been that open to it like that now it's like, okay. Because, yeah, I was going to go to another cemetery. So just real quick, and then I'll do one more deck, I think, and then that's it. We're going to, but I didn't feel a good energy, right? It was like, I drove by this other cemetery that supposedly has stuff. I didn't look it up because I didn't want to be influenced in any way. I wanted to go naturally and hear what talks to me at the cemetery. I just briefly read that there was things that have happened there, right? But it was crazy because it was night and it said it's closed during the weekend, but it was actually open. And I drove in just to turn around, but when I drove in, like my electronics glitched. So I was like, dude, what? There's no way. So it was clear there was some kind of energetic thing, right? So I was like, and then I felt weird energy. And then, the next morning I was supposed to go again with Lorenzo to the cemetery. And I was like, hey, man, you know what? I'm not feeling it. Because I just wasn't feeling it. So I was like, you know what? Either I'm not going to do this anymore about going to the cemeteries, or I got to learn how to, like, just make sure to tell the spirits, like, hey, don't, like, I'm cool talking to you and stuff, but you can't follow me home or nothing like that. And that's it, right? So I think that's funny about because I was thinking about saying that before I started this video. So for you, it could mean that, right? Like either learn to set healthy boundaries with humans or even like the spirit world or whatever the otherworldly beings, that people here call aliens are visiting you, tell them, you don't want to be getting probed or nothing like that. You know what I mean? So um yeah. Okay, I'll just do one from this, and then I really don't feel right if I don't do one from the Jade Oracle. Should have probably done that one first. But yeah, I know this is going long, but yeah, that's so funny about the thing. So it's funny that there were 8 cards. So I guess everything is how it's supposed to be. See, to me, I was like, man, like this is taking too long. And finally, when they flipped over, it was 8 of them, and then the eight's been very significant, and there was eights all up in that thing, 888, right? It was exactly 3 8s. Like it added up to 3 8s, so that's pretty funny. And then that I think 888 and 999. So let me see if anything wants to come out. Any message from the force from the sacred forest or go for, you know, the collective. I don't know. This one feels weird. The energy doesn't feel like really anything. Something flipped over? Sounded like something flipped over. Oh, it did. Wow. Okay, Grace. And that's funny because the native thing, right? Because I wanted to use this. I wanted to make sure I touch on that, and it looks like a native woman inside the trees, right? Wise woman of the grove, Grace. There's like this glowing ruby or pendant, right? Number 49, 13, another four, right? It's a beautiful card. Right? To me, obviously, it gives off the ancestors are with you kind of vibe, right? Like a journey, right? Searching for that hidden treasure, like within you, really, right? But at the end of it, there's like the ancestors are with you and they're almost smiling like you found it, right? Maybe you have been searching, right? And boom, like it's felt like you've been through this forest. Like this morning, right? When I went on my drive, there was all this fog, right? But I love the fog because always at some point it clears and you could see, right? But when the fog is there, it's like you can't see what's in front of you. So it almost gives that kind of feeling, right? Like going through this journey and boom, you get there. I mean, I think this car would, well, not because then you can't see everything, right? But it would have looked cool. I picture like fog, right? Like fog, and you make it through, and bam, there it is, right? Like the hidden treasure, right? And even though they use a root, to you take it how it means, right? Like what that hidden treasure means to you, right? Like yeah. So I'll do this last one, and that's it. I almost had like a weird feeling like I wasn't really supposed to read it from that one, but it felt like it went. Or maybe they're just telling me like, yeah, just make sure I pick one because like with the wisdom of the elders, I kept getting a few more or whatever. And then I'll end it with this because maybe that's what it is. I actually gotta go do something. So just to not prolong this, right? So this is the oh, that was that one just flew out. So that was cool. I don't have to be okay. So this is Tezcatlipoca, Lord of the Smoking Mirror. Wow, I was just talking about like the fog and all that. Espejo humien, humiente. Originally, I didn't really, I've seen people with the tattoo of the smoking mirror. Originally, I didn't have the best thought about it because, you know, the first person I saw with it was like someone that got it in prison too. And they told me like in there it kind of meant that, right? Like it wasn't the best meaning, right? But I got it. It was like a survival thing, right? To get with the meaning this person, how they carried it with them in prison, right? Because they got the tattoo in prison and everything. So that was my introduction to this, you know, this being, right? This Catlipoca, Lord of the Smoky Mirror, Espejo Umiente, right? Umiente. So let me read it real quick. Um, and then that's it. I'll end it because I think that was enough talking. Um, oh yeah, this is in English, but that's fine because I'm sure most of the people that listen to this. Okay, so Tezcatlipoca, Lord of the Smoking Mirror, Espejo Miente. Tezcatlipoca is the Lord of the Smoking Mirror and the Lord of Destiny. Ah, the mirror was made of obsidian, hence the smoky hue. Epic battles took place between Tezcatlipoca, representing the earth, and Quetzalcoatl, the wind. This can also be viewed as a conflict between the physical and spiritual. He is often at the center of conflict, a reminder that conflict births change. In one creation story, Tezcatlipoca used his foot as bait for Cipactli, the earth monster crocodile, and she bit it off. Note in the card how one of his feet is actually a wheel. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool because the crocodile bit it off. When Tezcatlipoca appears, there is usually conflict afoot. Uh-oh. He reminds you that illusion often obscures the truth. He challenges you to be strong and brave enough to face your own truth. After you clear the smoke, the mirror's image will be clear. Wow. And this is funny because if you look at it, the elections coming up here in the US, people are still, people won't be able to see past all the illusion, right? And like you said, if you were to clear it, everything will be super clear, right? But unfortunately, that's what it is, right? The conflict brings change. And I touched on that about how imagine if we finally brought peace, it would be something beautiful because all we've known, or even the generations before us, has been conflict, right? So that's amazing that, I said that, and then this comes out, right? Confirmations, all that good stuff, right? But yeah, I mean, it's nothing, of course, see, but that's the thing, is it's unfortunate. Like, it's nothing to be afraid of or anything. Because anyways, right? A lot of us have those traces of that in our DNA or stuff like that. Um, so it's like that. Like, imagine if everybody were to understand that. Like, oh, the election, wow, it's funny because it's a perfect example, right? You see, like, it's amazing because they'll do these smear campaigns. Oh, this politician did this and that, and they're this horrible person. And then on the flip side, then the positive one is like, oh, and they're endorsed by this and that, and the firemen endorse them, and the sheriff endorse, all this stuff, right? So you see what a better example of this whole concept than right now, right? When we get to see that live, right? And obviously someone's lying or they're both versions of the truth, right? Maybe both of them are like, obviously they're showing you what they want to show you, right? And if people could come to, I guess that's the thing is, right? There's always like a power struggle, right? Everybody wants to be right. Everybody this. Imagine if people really cared about as a whole, right? The collective well-being, right? The collective well-being, right? Um, I almost want to read it again because it was just, well, I'm sure, you could rewind it and listen to it again, but no, that was deep. I think it's perfect right now. I don't know if I'll do another one, who knows? Maybe I'll do another reading before the election and all this and that, right? Today it just called to me, so I was like, let me do it. But yeah, it makes sense during this time, right? But if you could just stop and I think that's why that song is perfect too, the pure imagination. When if we can imagine something beautiful, we can create it, right? All you gotta do is picture something beautiful, right? But of course, with that means, what would it mean? It means not forcing your ideas on other people. It means not, setting healthy boundaries. It's almost like everything ties in, right? In order to create something beautiful, just like you can visualize in your mind's eye, sometimes you do have to compromise certain things, not in a bad way, right? But be like, okay, I don't have to be this stubborn. I, I can let go of this, but not to where it's detrimental, right? Just like in agreement to like, okay, you know, you guys got what I'm saying, right? There's middle ground. We all do it in relationships every day, but it should never be in a way that's toxic, right? It should never be in a way that dims your light, that makes you feel bad. Anything that makes you feel bad basically is not worth compromising, right? Because eventually that always breeds resentment. It's just a recipe for disaster. So there can be compromise when it's not something like, like, let's say I'm just gonna, and then I'll end it, right? Like, let's say, you're in a relationship and it's like, man, okay, I don't really want to go there. That's not my thing, but I see it's gonna make you happy. I'll go with you, right? Boom, boom, boom. But then on the other end, that person has to understand, you know, and that's part of their thing, right? To understand that, okay, they know that you don't really like doing that, and they get it that you're going for them, and it's not something they're always gonna be throwing on you, like, hey, let's go to this thing again, right? Of course, there's the other aspect of like, hey, if you're with somebody that you guys are just too like oil and water, then it's sometimes it's best to just part ways, right? Like that kind of stuff. So there's so many dynamics to it, right? Maybe I should make a whole like relationship video, right? So, light bulbs could go off and be like, oh, that's true, right? That kind of stuff. So, I'll see if someone wants to make one of those videos with me. But on that note, I'll end it. Thank you so much for listening. If you stayed this far, I know I went off into all this other stuff. I think the reading was pretty deep. I liked it because there was just a lot of synchronicities, right? And that's been very present lately. So many synchronicities, exaggerated. Like I can't even explain, right? It's so many, like every day. Um, oh, I forgot. Okay, yeah, I gotta get going. So I end up with that. Thank you all for listening. I hope you're all well. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, all that good stuff. All right, peace.
Life may move fast, or it may move slow. I met a silly man who said he'd make it slow. We look up out towards space, or even at the sky. One that gets away, but never look inside. Breathe in, breathe out. Life is a maze, but we'll figure this out. I mean, human beings, I ain't got no doubt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever.